Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to today's Startup Junkie. And of course, I am your host. And if you don't know me, I am AJ. All right. So we come to you Monday through Friday, live streaming on multiple social platforms, right here on Facebook, as well as on YouTube and Periscope / Twitter. And also be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, as well as iHeart Media. And of course, as you can tell, we're on Stitcher. We're also on Google Podcasts, and we're on some other podcasting networks. Honestly, so many I honestly do not remember. But nonetheless, you can check inside this post right here in the body of this post. Not only will you find links to news articles and videos of what I'm going to share with you today, but you're also going to find where you can actually like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Please do that. All right. Also, you can join the startupjunkie.io Facebook group where we share information about startups, about business growth, strategies, tips. I want to say tricks, but really more so tactics on how you can make your entrepreneur dream a reality. So thank you. I see people that are already checking in right now. So we're just going to get into it today. So definitely, as you see on the screen, please share this information and let people know that the Startup Junkie is on. Please share, please share, please share. Now, as normal, we do what is called the state of play. The state of play is anything that affects your pocketbook. That's the bottom line. And that typically are things that affect the economy. Case in point, right now everyone is waiting on a second stimulus package. However, a monkey wrench, so to speak, has been thrown in the game with the executive orders by the president, right? Most of what I share with you is basically unenforceable, all right? But I am going to respond to some of you guys who said, well, AJ, I understand what you're saying to us, but can you also give us a different perspective? Are there other people saying exactly what you're saying? Well, first, I always provide links to articles and videos of what I'm sharing with you for that to be a fact. But in the spirit of actually helping you understand it a little bit more, what I'm going to do is share with you a state of play video that basically shares any and everything about the current state of what's going on with the stimulus. So check it out.
Stimulus talks stalled on Capitol Hill this morning. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell now urging the White House and Democratic leaders to restart negotiations. Chad Pergram is live for us on Capitol Hill. And Chad, why isn't there more urgency to get something done here?
Well, the main reason right now is that there's no bill that can pass and become law. And until that changes, until that vote matrix starts to break loose on both the House and Senate sides, nothing is going to change here on Capitol Hill. They are in a cryogenic freeze, a stasis. And that's why there are recriminations now on both sides of the aisle. Let's start with the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell.
But if Democrats are playing hardball, their opponents aren't us Republicans. Not really. They're playing hardball against kids, workers, and vulnerable Americans who need help. They're playing hardball against our medical system.
And Democrats right now are arguing that these executive orders are unworkable.
Rather than trying to break the logjam, as a true presidential leader should, President Trump sits on the sidelines and just issued a bunch of weak and unworkable executive orders.
This is why members of Congress prefer to legislate rather than deferring to the executive branch. Few states can provide the $100 match to go along with the $300 in jobless aid sought by the president. And on the suspension of the payroll tax, there's worry how much good that will do. The tax isn't collected if people aren't on a payroll, so that may not stimulate the economy. There's concern that failing to collect the payroll tax jeopardizes the programs it funds, Medicare and Social Security. The Secretary of the Treasury, Steve Mnuchin, rejects that.
The president would like to do a payroll tax cut, so he'll go back to Congress when he wins the election and ask Congress to have this money forgiven and have the Social Security Trust Fund fully topped up so that in no way does this impact Social Security.
Now, no talks are scheduled right now. There's probably not going to be any talks anytime soon just because they don't have the votes. They have not met since last Friday, Trace.
And Chad, what about rank and file members? Are they beginning to worry about there not being a bill?
Absolutely. They're starting to get anxious, especially those in swing states and districts, both sides of the aisle. If they start to get nervous, they talk to their constituents back home. They hear from cafe owners and bar owners say, look, we can only go to 30% capacity. That could start to change if they get in the ear of the leaders and say, look, we have to do something. That might be the tactic here. It was always thought that phase 5 of these coronavirus negotiations would be the toughest, and certainly that has proven to be the case thus far. Trace?
Chad Pergram, live for us on Capitol Hill. Chad, thank you.
All right. So I want to point out a couple things that Mr. Chad said. Okay. First and foremost, what he said in that report, and which, by the way, because I'm not going to say many, because some of you actually reached out and say, hey, AJ, I noticed that the information that you shared, it was from CNN. CNN is over to the left. You shared some stuff from MSNBC, which, by the way, all of that is not true. I shared information from Fox. But what I decided to do was to share a video directly from Fox News. For all those on the right claiming I'm too far to the left. Again, I say I only report it as I see it. And again, this is a Startup Junkie, and this is not necessarily a news show, but I bring to you the state of play so you can understand what's going on with the stimulus, the economy, and ultimately what's affecting your pocketbook. So here's the situation. What's affecting your pocketbook at this time is basically 4 executive orders that really carry no water. All right. What's affecting your pocketbook at this time is a Fox reporter saying, hey, look, the rank and file members, which, by the way, he meant the ranking file members of the Senate that are Republican, basically, they can't even pass a bill. So again, the state of play is this. There's a HEROES Act that was passed on May 15th. For $3.2 trillion by the House Democrats. That's Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. All right. Now, in the Senate, that's Mitch McConnell. And Mitch McConnell proposed the HEALS Act. The HEALS Act was $1 trillion, a little bit over $1 trillion. Okay. The state of play is this. Mitch McConnell basically spoke with the Democrats. They could not come to an agreement because Mitch, as the guy said in the interview on Fox, he could not even get his rank and file members to even get behind the HEALS Act because they didn't really want to spend any more money. So what happened was the Democrats started negotiating directly with Mick Mulvaney and with Steven Mnuchin as representatives of the current administration. In other words, the White House, right? In a political brilliant move, and I got to say it's pretty brilliant based on optics, Donald Trump basically, since those talks fell apart between the Democrats and the current administration, basically signed four executive orders. Those executive orders are, 1, to basically cut the payroll tax. Now, as I shared with you last night, many of you guys don't know how important the payroll taxes are. The payroll taxes actually fund not only Medicare, but Social Security. All right. In other words, all those seniors that are getting these Social Security checks and those disability people that are disabled that are getting Social Security disability checks, that's what that funds. All right. Now, keep in mind, we've already had a strain on the amount of monies for SSI, for Social Security. And they said that, hey, honestly, it's probably going to run out. So, being presumptive, Steven Mnuchin, the economic advisor to the current administration, which is Donald Trump, right? That's the current administration in the White House, says when he wins, that's presumptive, right? When he wins, which, by the way, he really could win. Again, despite everything, he really could win. All right. That's just my opinion. That's also the opinion that's held by some financial analysts in the stock market. All right. Now, when he wins, he is basically going to forgive. Now, listen to this. Forgive and replenish SSI, those payroll taxes. So who would he be forgiving? Well, let me tell you who he's forgiving. He would have to forgive employers and employees, because just because you're getting, as I shared with you last night in an article, just because you're getting a little extra on your check because you're not paying payroll tax, which is different from federal taxes, right? Payroll tax, in other words, the SSI, Medicare, just because you're not paying that doesn't mean that you don't have to pay it. So the actual cut is not a cut. It's actually a deferment because, and you've seen from tons of reports, and you can also check the links in the body of this post that will take you to articles that basically say the same thing that I'm saying to you now. And that is, you still have to pay that money back. So at the end of the year, because the executive order basically is supposed to go to the end, through the end of the year, you're going to be hit with a tax bill if you're an employer or an employee, because you have to pay that money back. Now, what many employers are saying, we're not going to, not withhold the payroll tax. We're going to keep that money so we won't get a big bill. So many of you guys who thinking, oh, wow, my check is about to be bigger. It actually depends on the company that you're working for, the corporation that you're working for. And I can tell you firsthand, I have plenty of friends that own businesses that are attorneys too, that have gotten in trouble by not paying payroll taxes. In other words, they've gotten their accounts seized by the IRS for not paying payroll taxes. Okay? So that's the state of play with the first executive order. The second executive order, here's the state of play, is the boost to the unemployment. And that boost is $400 or $400 extra a week versus $600 that was clearly outlined in CARES Act 1, and that was also proposed in the HEROES Act by the Democrats in the $3.2 trillion that they were asking for. Now, here's the situation. Donald Trump, the current administration, signs an executive order saying $400 extra. But what you didn't know was, unless you read the bill, unless you've seen some reports, they're basically depending on the states to pick up 25% of that $400 a week. In other words, they're expecting governors to allocate money to municipalities to give an extra $100 for every person that is getting unemployment boost of $400 per week. But many of the governors, Democrat and Republican, are saying, guess what? We ain't got it. We don't have an extra $100 to give each week to each person, right? And again, very brilliant move. Whether you like this or not, you got to admit, it's a brilliant move or a brilliant setup for Donald Trump to come in to the rescue and say, tell you what, we'll just pick up the entire 400. All right? That is brilliant. It really is, right? But nonetheless, I'm simply saying to you, the flaw in that executive order is the fact that only $300 of that is covered by the federal government, and state government, which are the governors, are saying that we don't have the money to do it. Many states. Now, again, don't believe me. Look in the body of this post, click on a link, read it for yourself. Now, the third executive order, holding off student loan payments as well as interest until further notice. Now, I got to be honest with you. I'm not necessarily sure if that's constitutional or not constitutional. Okay? Don't worry, I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna get to your question in just a second. I see somebody checking in from Periscope /Twitter. I don't necessarily know if that is particularly legal or not. But if it is, because right now CARES Act took care of that until sometime in September, I think that's a good thing. If he can do that, cheers. All right, that's a great thing. So I don't have any further opinion on that. However, a deeper detail about that particular executive order is in the body of this post in links. Okay, so check it out for yourself. Now, here is the last one. Besides the unemployment boost, what many of you have been asking me is, AJ, can you please address what the executive order says about rent and mortgage moratoriums? In other words, what does the executive order do to stop people from being evicted? Honestly, nothing. Don't believe me? Check out the video links in the body of this post and the articles in the body of this post, because if you go back and look at the actual executive order, it basically says we're going to form a study. It doesn't say that. And besides, the only way that you can actually stop evictions, okay, you can stop mortgage foreclosures, and no, I used to be a broker, is based on the loans being federally backed. So if there's a real estate investor out there that has a federally backed mortgage, then you can actually stop. You can put a freeze on that, because if you put a freeze on the rent, so people don't get evicted, you can also put a freeze on the mortgage that the person has to pay if what they have is a federally backed mortgage. So the problem is many real estate investors and apartment owners, and those loans are not federally backed. Okay, they're not. So that actually does not stop the eviction process. The eviction moratorium ended in mid-July. So what we're faced with at this time, the state of play, I need you guys to listen to me. The state of play is this. There's only a study on it. Okay, the HEALS Act, which the Republicans, I can't really call it an act, it's more like a proposal, because it really wasn't that many pages. It really didn't address it. Okay, it really didn't address the rental evictions. It didn't address the moratorium. However, the HEROES Act passed in the House did. So now, here's where we are. The final state of play. Mitch McConnell is urging, as you saw in the video, urging the White House and the Democrats to start again negotiations. Well, you might be saying, AJ, if everything has to pass through the Senate, because taking you back to Schoolhouse Rock, I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill, basically in the House, passes in the House, goes over to the Senate, and then is sent to the president's desk to be signed off on. Well, you might be saying, well, why is it that the Senate is basically waiting for the House Democrats to negotiate with the current administration? What is going on? Why isn't the Senate involved? Well, the Senate, as you saw in the video, the reporter said he can't get the rank and file. In other words, he can't get enough votes from his own people. And I'm talking about Mitch McConnell. But if Donald Trump, the current administration, says it's so, believe me, they'll fall in line, file and rank. They will fall in line and they will pass something. So ultimately, what does this mean for your pocketbook? Well, if you're waiting on a $1,200 check, there's still some hope. All right. But they actually have to get back to the negotiating table to make it happen. There's still some hope. But right now, all indications are that the House Democrats and the current administration, they can't see eye to eye on certain things. In addition to that, you also have to know that a line in the sand, a red line for Mitch McConnell, the leader in the Senate, Republican, was to protect businesses from liability, right? But they said he was kind of wavering a little bit on that, because even Mitch McConnell realizes that people just like you that are hardworking Americans, that there is a running total of somewhat around 58 million total jobless claims that have been filed. Okay, there are not 58 million people unemployed. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that many have been filed. However, many people have gone back to work. But the thing is, many people have gone back to work at reduced hours, reduced pay, and many people have gone back to work in jobs that they didn't have before. Particularly if you're a black, African American, or Hispanic business, there are many of those businesses that have gone out of business that will never ever return. But it's not just on the color side. When I mean people of color in business, it's also on regular, everyday Americans who own businesses too. There are some businesses, and it's estimated that 40% of the businesses that are not operating will cease to exist. Again, don't believe me. Check the body of this post, links, articles, etc. You'll see what I'm talking about. So, what is the final state of play for you? This is my opinion, and this is just my opinion based on research. Start something of your own, okay? Any and everything that you can do to make some extra money, you can do that. If you have things that you want to sell or that you feel like you can sell, even if they're used, try selling those on eBay. All right. I offered, and I'm honestly, I don't know because the producer handles this. I don't know if there's a body in the body of this post, if there's a link to my free course. There's absolutely no selling. How to start a business for under $1,000 in 7 days, taught in 45 minutes. So if it isn't that, please, if it is in this body of the post, please check it out. If not, you can't find it there. Go over to Facebook. Go over to startupjunkie.io. That's our Facebook group. Join the group and take advantage of all of the resources that we have in there. Now, that has been the state of play. So let me share with you what has been going on with me. Again, be sure to check out our podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, as well as iHeart Media. That is the Startup Junkie live show. Or you can visit our website at thinkgrids, thinkgrids.com, and check us out, and you can find our podcast there. So let me turn this music down. Just turn it off, and I want to tell you what's been going on with me. And I appreciate all the people that are in there. So I'm gonna jump over real quick and actually answer a couple of people who have actually chimed in. Was that Rambo? I think it's Rambo L3, Zombie I3. I got an email saying we won't get anything until questions are answered from the New York governor. Okay, so it's good. One, it's good to see somebody in New York checking out this show on Periscope. Okay, I would really think that my Facebook peeps would chime in since I interact with you guys so much. But you got my man on Twitter outdoing you guys. So jump in and ask if you have questions. Ask me those questions. All right. So I believe you. Okay. Andrew Cuomo runs New York. He's the governor of New York. He's basically telling you, in essence, at least this is my opinion. He's a Democrat, by the way, that, hey, look, we don't really have anything. We're still waiting for money from the government. We're still waiting for allocations. Now, whether that's the case or not, that's on the only way that I can actually respond to you. Okay, Rambo 3, Zombie I3. What a hell of a handle, my friend. What a hell of a handle. So let me tell you what's been going on with me. Why I haven't been on for the last couple of days, except for last night. I was on late last night. Okay, this is what has been going on with me. Basically, in essence, my account got hacked. Okay, I don't have access to my business page. They basically went into to my business manager and tried to spend thousands of dollars. Okay, immediately put a freeze on my credit card. Basically, you can look this up, and I'm calling them out because I saw your name in my business manager, Prince Akeem Films. Okay, I'm calling you out, Prince Akeem Films. You had access to my account. All right, I froze my shit though. All right, so you can't use it. I'm just letting you know. So I've been going back and forth with Facebook trying to get access to to our company's business page, right? We have quite a few followers on the page, but I can't do anything on the page. So basically, we're going to start. We probably going to end up having to start another page, because what happens is whenever you have a Facebook ad account, it's in the Facebook Manager, and you have certain pages by which you do advertising from. All right, and fortunately for me, we got out of the ad game long time ago, because I know someone who lost like 50 grand. Okay, I almost said G's. All right, 50 grand because someone else got access to their account, and of course they got their money back, because by federal law you're only responsible for like $50 on a credit card, but they got their money back, so good for them. But I'm just saying, so that what is happening to me, right? There's this whole crazy process with sending information and proof to Facebook, but still they have not rectified the situation. So be on the lookout. I will be sharing a new page. All right. And I hope that you guys would join me, just like you joined me in the Startup Junkie, just like you've joined me on my personal profile page, in helping entrepreneurs and business owners basically take an idea from concept to market. Now, let me share this with you guys real quick before we get out of here, okay? All right. Like I said, back here, this is a business model canvas. This is one of the things that I'm teaching in the free course, all right? In the free course, I'm teaching you how to start a business in less than 7 days, right? For under $1,000. And the course, listen to this, is only 45 minutes. We have a global, I'm not going to call it global. Technically, I can. It's really like a multi-state business summit coming up, and I am going to be looking for some speakers, okay? So you can go to my page, and you can DM me if you'd like to speak. I want to know a little bit about your business, but if I'm not clicking on any links, though, okay? I'm just letting you know. I'm not clicking on any links, because they can get access. They, meaning hackers, can get access. But do know this, entrepreneur, business owner. This is the last thing I'll leave you with. When you are talking about growing business and you're showing proof of what you're doing, trust me, hackers are going to come after you. All right? They're going to come after your financials. They're going to come after you. They're going to try to get your money. All right? So my recommendation to you is to constantly change your email passwords. Have different passwords for different things. Don't have the same password for your bank account that is for your email, that is for Facebook, for Instagram, for Twitter, for Periscope, for YouTube. Do not do it, because once they get access to one thing, they have access to all your ish. All right? So I just wanted to share that with you. Be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, as well as iHeart Media. Until tomorrow, everyone. I don't know what the topic will be, but guess what? It will be relevant.